Good morning to you, Jess. It's another perfect day here in Townsville. Tony, would you expect anything different from up here in North Queensland? You know this track well, and especially the Australian GT Championship. You might be the perfect, I guess, inside man to give us a scoop as to how to get around this amazing little 2.86 kilometre venue. You've done quite well here in the past, Tony, so let's bring up the Virgin Australia track map. Good morning to yourself. Talk us through this amazing little repark circuit.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite circuits. It's a bit of a combination of a street circuit and part of a permanent road as well. Coming down into turn 2 here, really good opportunity to make a pass. We've got a little bit of resurfacing there as well. So up around this back section here, in the Ferrari, you can use a little bit of curb. You see the guys running really wide out into turn 6 exit curb. Turn 7 and 8 here, another one where you got to fly the car over the curb as much as you can. Around turn 10 there, the train tracks, pretty bumpy through there. And then we come to the last section here, almost a hairpin coming onto the front straight. You've got to get good drive to maximise straight line speed. Very
nice work. Supercars will be doing 255 clicks on approach down to that turn 2 hairpin, which is where Cam's Australian GT drivers are going through now. So this is qualifying. Like you said, there has been a little bit of resurfacing down at turn 2 overnight. So the good folks here, we've got, I think, 450 volunteers working at the Castrol Edge Townsville 400 this weekend, helping us to make sure that the track surface is absolutely pristine. Fantastic conditions right now.
It's almost perfect. We've got some turbo cars in the field here, and with these cooler conditions this morning, and the track will have rubbered in a lot more from yesterday. So we see the exit of turn 6 here. The exit curb is much more rubbered up, so the guys will actually start exploring that a little bit more. And we've got most of our what you call pro drivers in the car now, so we should see lap times a little bit quicker than yesterday. Once they get a bit more tyre temp in the cars and warm the brakes and all that sort of stuff, those times will start to tumble.
There's Craig Baird in the Mercedes, Nathan Morgan, our championship leader, whizzing by, and John Martin in the 911 Walkinshaw Porsche. They're just still getting some heat into the brakes, heat into their Pirellis.
Last year we had a Ferrari on the front row here, in pole actually, on a 12-1. I'd expect the cars to come really close to that time. We had Christopher Mees on the front row as well in the Audi. And with a new generation car, it should be that little bit quicker, but it'll be interesting to see. You know, we're another year down the track with track degradation and things like that. We'll just see how, if they can compare to last year.
It's kind of a matter of which one's going to outweigh the other, the track degradation or the development in the cars. It might just fall evenly on that 12-1 plateau. As the STM, that's an Erebus prepared car. Erebus had a great day yesterday in the Supercars practice with David Reynolds. Scott Taylor Motorsport is what STM stands for, and Saint Apparel, that's motorcycle rider apparel for Craig Baird, who spent the afternoon in a day spa yesterday. I've managed to pick up on that little bit of insight, so he'd be feeling very relaxed right now.
Well, it was a bit of a quiet day for some of these guys. Only did a few laps in morning practice. I noticed Nathan Entrance and Elliot Barber, they were doing a bit of exercise in the afternoon. They had that much energy left over. So, but down to business here. Beardo, he's no stranger to this place, and he's been performing really good in this Mercedes. So, not as many Mercedes this weekend here. We got Dom Story and Peter Hackett there that not doing this round in particular, focusing on the endurance championship. They've had a great start to the endurance part. And they're just getting up to speed now to their first flying lap. I wouldn't expect times to be so good just right now, but they'll chip away at it.
Well, obviously being a public road and a lot of service vehicles and everyone driving around the circuit over the last 12 hours overnight, still a little bit of dust as well to get off the surface. So we're about to see the fast time start in about another 5 to 6 minutes or so. Gee, a bit of a traffic jam at the top there with Tony Quinn trying to find a little bit of real estate. Here goes Stephen Richards, pole position in a Lamborghini here a couple years ago. So he knows this layout. Raced Carrera Cup here, raced Supercars here.
You can just see on the inside of the turn 2 there's a bit of a section of circuit that has been repaired overnight. I think after all the Supercar running yesterday, it just torn it up a little bit. It's a big braking zone there, and you're carrying quite a bit of speed in there, a lot of load through the circuit. So we have had some problems in the past there, so they're just trying to repair it. So for today's longer races, we don't have any problems. But just going back to what you're saying about trying to get a little bit of real estate, you need to try and set yourself up for when those tyres are coming on. You've got clear track ahead of you, you're not getting held up, and you can put that time down without getting interfered.
Well, 13.9 for Craig Baird. To give you an idea, we got a 12.8 yesterday in qualifying from Clark Quinn. So still got another second of time to find before Clark's 1 minute 12.8 second time gets elapsed. That was set in the first qualifying session yesterday. There's no funny business with adding or aggregate times. It is just whoever sets the fastest time in the 2 sessions will take pole position. As we go on board now with Nathan Antunes. Oh, someone's had a lock-up down here. That's hard to do in a GT.
That corner there in particular, when you do overshoot it, there's not a lot of runoff there, so you sort of almost have to half commit to it. And sometimes it all ends up a little bit wrong, but Nathan last year actually took a race win on the Sunday race, so he's had some great results here in the past, and I expect him to be right at the front in this session.
Good conditions for the twin-turbo V8 McLaren.
He's just still working the wheel a little bit, tyres aren't up yet. He's not exploring the car at this point of the session.
Very different tyre to what we see in the supercars. The Dunlop tyre comes on instantly, and the very first lap is 9 out of 10 times going to be your fastest. The Pirelli tyre comes on gradually, so later in the qualifying session is where we see the faster times.
Yeah, I mean, for this style of racing, longer races, it's a great tyre to have because it still performs a long way into the stint. But it is a little bit different than that supercar tyre. Supercar, if you don't get it right straight away on that 1 of 2 laps, then you're done a little bit. You can't really recover the tyre. This car here, this tyre here, you can cool it down and have another crack. So for a gentleman driver, that's a great thing because it builds their confidence over the session.
Craig Baird's lowered the marker to a 1:13.0 and is going faster on this lap again.
Yeah, I reckon they're gonna blitz last year's time. I just got a feeling that these new cars are just that little bit better, and we've got some really red-hot drivers out there.
This guy's one of them. He goes to 5th.
Nah, he's all right.
He's just building the current reigning Australian GT champion and a former winner of all the big 24-hour races except Le Mans, pretty much.
He's pretty much in one of those cars every weekend of his life, so he should know the car back to front.
Oh, it was Baird who had the lock-up at turn 2, I reckon. This thing, sorry, that was turn 3. He had the lock-up earlier. That's obviously the last corner. Just wonder if this hasn't got the ABS cranked up quite high enough.
It is strange to be locking a tyre in one of these cars unless he's actually turned the system off, which he can do. And maybe for this circuit, he's taking that approach, especially with the traction control, to turn it off and see what the car can do. But generally, you'd leave the ABS on, you know, even if it's at the lowest setting. But they might have a little slight problem with the car.
Jonathan Webb, who's gone to the top now. I haven't spoken about Jono Webb much yet, but he's gone quicker than any of the times from yesterday. So new provisional pole position, it's Jonathan Webb, 1:12.6, and Tunis 1:12.7. But what's Mees got for us here, because he's had a pretty clean run here onto the front straight, 48.3 through 2 sectors, so it's going to be a 12. It's a 12.3.
Wow.
And that's good enough for first.
So we're only a couple of tenths off last year's pole time.
Already. Another 12 minutes to go in the session. Scary prospect as he floats the big R8 down towards turn 2. Webb pushing on. And he just cuts McLaren. McLaren yet to take a pole position here at this track, despite the fact that they've got a couple race wins. Clark Quinn and Tunis getting that thing pulled up. Gets it turned in though. So yeah, Clark Quinn, a race winner in a McLaren here in the past.
Antunes goes up to 2nd now. Webby's on a pretty good lap here. So between Webby and Grandini, they're a pretty good pairing. They're ranked probably a little bit too high though, so their pit stop times, it does affect him during the race, but he goes straight to the top. 12.2. That's impressive.
And we're only a 10th off the lap record, that 1:12.1 that was set last year by Kiwi GT sensation Jono Lester. Here's Mees. Once again, it was... Oh, he's going to go... This will be an 11. This will be an 11.9 for Mees.
Oh,
he misses at 12.1. But it's good enough to go back up to the front.
There's Grant Denyer and Chris McCormack there.
So he's 500ths off the lap record. And Denyer looking for a front row start at the moment, courtesy of his co-driver Jonathan Webb. Comes Ashton Marty.
We've got Marcus Marshall here in the Superbarn entry. James Konduris yesterday, I think, was P5, so they're in a really strong position. Let's see how he finishes this lap off.
I think Antunes behind him is also on a lap here. 13.1 for Marshall. And Tunis 1:12.2. stays in third, but there are some fast times here at the top. A 10th of a second covered the top three. Glenn Wood across the finish line for 7th. He was quickest in opening practice yesterday in the big Lambo. Bit of an older model car. We were going to have one of the new Hurricanes here running this weekend, but it's not quite ready yet. Mees is winding it up. 47.9 in the second sector. He's going faster and faster, but he's late on the brakes at 13. Kind of a little bit wide, missing the apex slightly. Is it enough to find the first ever 11 in the GTs?
Oh.
Not quite.
Very, very close there. You know, potentially if he had got that last apex, he might have just made that last little bit of time he needed.
This is frantic stuff, though. Feels like every 10 seconds we've got a driver lighting up the board.
The track will be in great condition, and the guys will just be pushing harder and harder and harder. That's the good thing about these tyres, as we've mentioned, they don't sort of go away. So the guys just keep pushing, finding a little bit more, getting that lap a little bit nicer.
Marshall improves here from 8th. We'll follow the Audi, the Superbarn Audi first. He goes to 6th, and Tunis does not improve. And Quinn, behind them, goes up a spot to 4th. Okay, game of musical chairs. This one, Tony, this is exciting. It's going to be an intense 9 minutes home from here. Wood stays 8th, Morecambe 9th, so the championship leader can only manage 9th at the moment. That'll give him a good pit stop time, though, so it's not the end of the world. It all evens out in this game.
It's not the end of the world there, but he'd like to try and start a little bit closer up the front, just to stay out of some of the carnage. We're on board now with Nathan. You see he's not really using any of the curves. I think he's on a bit of a cool-down lap at the moment. Bit of traffic ahead of him there.
Well, Mees is back into the pits. So too Craig Baird, Largo and Stephen Richards. So they're going to come in, have a play with those tyre pressures and have one last crack. No one lighting up personal best sector times in the top 10 here, so it looks like they're all headed back to the lane. Good flurry of time so far sees the German megastar of the GT world, Christopher Mees, on top. 400s off the lap record. Jonathan Webb in 2nd, Nathan Antunis 3rd. It goes Audi, McLaren, McLaren, McLaren. The top 4. In they come. Now they could actually go to a fresh set here. They do have 2 sets of tyres, so...
Yeah, it depends what they did yesterday, whether they ran, what tyres they ran yesterday. So generally though, I'd say the guys will just repressure and go back out again. They might make a small tweak to the car. There's not really a lot you can do in the time they've got, but I wouldn't expect them to be putting greens on just yet.
Good lap from Glenn Wood there, brother of Dale Wood. Jumping up to 4th on that lap, but actually pushing Clark Quinn down a spot. So he's turning up the wick in the Lambo.
Aston Martin here.
New car.
He's learning the new car. He had a test day at Winton prior to this round. He absolutely loved it. And he's setting some really good times at Winton, so he's just becoming more comfortable with it. Richo.
They don't look like... Oh, they're stickers.
Oh, he's got greens on.
I wonder if they were just the fronts.
Okay, so some of these guys might have gone out on tyres from yesterday and just warmed the car up and then bang the new set on for later in the session. It's interesting because we've got 7 minutes to go. It's a little bit of time, but you still need a few laps to get tyre temp into it. We've seen the quickest times have come sort of midway through this session. So hopefully it works out for him.
He's down to P11 at the moment, Steve Richards.
That might be indicating that he ran the older tyre to start the session.
Okay.
John Martin, how's he going?
Well, currently
13th at the moment.
13th in the Walkinshaw Porsche in its first season. The new generation car. We're looking forward to hopefully seeing this at the 12-hour next year, maybe even with some factory backing from Porsche. Imagine if they could just pull together from this amazing, Le Mans winning drivers and this incredible pool of drivers they got around the world. They could make a pretty serious lineup for next year's 12-hour. Here comes Craig Baird to start another lap. He's been into the pits, so this will be his first flyer beginning now. And it looks like he's still intent on getting some heat into those tyres.
So he must have new tyres on as well then. So it's still possible here to go faster than this 12.1. It's definitely not done and dusted just yet.
I think Mees has an 11 in him. But it's a matter of, do they even bother going to a fresh set here, or do they try and save it with their 2 1-hour races?
The thing here, though, like the track degradation isn't very high. So, I mean, if it was me, I'd be throwing the tyre on it and using the tyre, because in race format, it's really not going to make a huge difference. It's not like we're at Barbagallo or something where the degradation is really bad. I think the closer you can start to the front of the grid, the better.
Aaron Russell to the right there, opening up the laptop. He's getting ready to take control of the Plus Fitness Commodore, qualifying for the supercars and a 200-kilometre race to round out the day on what's a nice long Saturday here at the Capital Edge Townsville 400. This is second and final qualifying for Cam's Australian GT Championship. 5 minutes left in the session. Chad Malon and Tony D'Alberto to bring you back to the checkered flag. Utes will be up next. Settle in for a big day on the couch, I reckon, Tony. It's a good one to be in front of the telly because this is one of our favourite events on the calendar. And now Baird is about to launch into a fast one. Already with a couple of race wins, one in Perth, one at the Australian Grand Prix. It was the first win for this new model AMG anywhere in the world. The brakes at turn 3, gives the curb plenty of room. You can't go smashing the curbs with the same confidence that you can in a supercar or one of these stiffly sprung low-down Mercedes.
You can see the different driving style that these guys have to approach this track with compared to the supercar guys. It's a little bit about car preservation. Oh, he uses a curb there. That's quite, we haven't really seen that a lot this weekend. I still get the impression, though, he's still doing a little bit of tyre warming. He's not really on a hot one just yet. He's on a PB for himself, but whether he'll go to the top or not, I'm not sure.
Actually, he's on the second, he's on the best second sector time here. Yeah. So this could be potentially good enough to break the lap record and go to the top. What's that last corner like? Has he got the power down? What have we got from Baird? Here comes the time. Oh, lap record, Craig Baird, P1. Bang. So he's put together a beauty of a lap.
That was his first flyer on the tyre. So to me, this is the lap that's going to get him into that 11-second bracket. Nathan Morecambe there, he's just in the pits having a bit of a drink and a bit of a chat to his engineer.
Now, Mies has lost some time here. He was 2 tenths down to the first sector anyway. He'll get another couple of laps in, so it's not the end of the world, but he is looking at a little bit of traffic out of the windscreen here. It's not what he wants or needs.
You can see that he got held up on that lap, so he's aborted the rest of the lap. Get himself set up for the next lap, not overdo the tyre. Nice wide exit of the straight here and really focus on getting good drive down the front straight.
And he'll know that Craig Baird's bettered his time. He'll know that the gauntlet has been thrown down. And he knows now that he's got 2 minutes and 42 seconds to do something about it. Here comes the German. Down at turn 2, he needs to hit that braking marker perfectly. All the way out to the wall, sharing this car with Tony Bates this weekend. Jeff Emery was driving this car in Perth, suffered that nasty accident. With damage to his back, he's going to take some time on the sidelines, so Tony Bates steps in as co-driver. The reigning champ is on a charge. He's up. It's a green box to the first sector. He's quicker than Craig Baird through the first third of the racetrack.
See there, staying off the curbs. Bairdo basically threw the car over the curb, so see what the time difference is. It's still up.
It's a 10th up. He's on target to dip into the 1 minute 11 if you can get the last 3 or 4 corners right.
Looks pretty good to me.
There's only 3 left-handers on this circuit. This is one of them. The last corner. Oh, it's much better that
perfect,
time.
Yep. Here
Is this the 11, Tony? Here he comes.
Oh, I think without a doubt he's going to get to 11. Here we go.
Boom!
Yes.
1:11.8. Another lap record in the cans. The German star goes back to the top.
So how many poles will that be so far?
For the Audi, it'll be all 5.
Oh, wow.
This year they've not been better.
Come on, Beardo, then. Let's go.
Let's get the Merc back up there. Personal best through the middle sector for Craig Baird. He'll sneak into the 11s, but I don't think it'll be enough. No, it's actually slower in that last sector. We lost time in the last 3 or 4 corners. And is that the cue back on the rack for the Kiwi?
Who else is on a flyer here? Mies looks like he's still going on with it.
Well, 21.3 to the, he's only 800 slower to the first sector than his own personal best through there, and it's good enough for a green box on our screen, so it's quick. 47.8, his own personal best here, he's a 10th off it. And reaching traffic too, so...
I think he's backed out of it now.
I think he's played his hand here, Tony.
I think he's got enough margin to pit now and look after the car.
Oh, he's going to have another go. He wants one more lap. He
Just
knows
in case.
you can never rest when Craig Baird is on the circuit. aggressive on those curbs. Oh, he's just 92 thousandths off, but we know how quick he is through that second sector. Using those curbs more than Mies. This is a shootout between two of the best sports car drivers, not just in this country, but anywhere that you'll see. Baird with a Carrera Cup pole here in the past. Rounds the last corner. 11.8 to beat. No, again, he just can't seem to put that last sector together like the German star. And that's the checkered flag right there. It's over. Anyone else got a lap for us? Mies is going on with it. The boys could get on the radio and tell him not to worry about it. Sebastian Vettel style, just abort the lap and don't show anyone your hand. There is the team from Melbourne Performance Centre, and they look to have locked away their 5th consecutive pole of the year.
He's still going. Doesn't look like on the screen here there's anybody that's going to put a time down. It's going to be any better than that, that's for sure.
When you think that his countryman Christopher Haase got the pole at the last round of the championship, that makes 6 in a row now for Audi. And there it is. He says, that'll do me. I'm in P1 today.
Got Eric Pender there, who runs a lot of the Melbourne Performance Centre team.
You may remember that name from Rick Kelly's successful days in the Kmart Commodores, Eric Pender. So they've put together a crack team of engineers in that team.
Great team, one of the most professional GT teams that we have in this country.
And that was cool. We just knocked 3/10 off the lap record. He's back in the country. He missed a round in Perth because he was competing at Brands Hatch, and he shows the field how strong this R8 Audi is when he needs it to be. Putting it on the pole position here in Townsville from Craig Baird. And Nathan Antunes could only manage 4th, but that is a second row start and within striking distance. Glenn Wood put the Lambo in 5th and ahead of Clark Quinn. That's a huge effort from an older model car.
That was such an exciting session there. The times were just tumbling one up the other, and didn't expect the guys to throw tyres on so late in that session. So that definitely spiced it up.
They were really having at it, the 22 drivers.
There's
Christopher Mies at the front. There's Beto back in, and happy with the front row effort. He certainly tried. He also went under the lap record. He just didn't go under by as much as this guy did. Mies and Bates will have the front row start for the first race. It's an hour mini endurance, I guess you could call it, coming up later today. And can anyone beat them? I guess it's all about those pit stop rules, really. Yeah,
it is actually. And you really obviously want to qualify as far as you can, but then we're not too sure with the pit stop time how you sort of get affected during the race with safety cars and things like that. But hey, if you're starting at the front, you're giving yourself the best opportunity.
Let's check out the highlights. Craig Baird had the perfect track position to lay down some fast ones early. At the end of the day, he'd be bettered by Christopher Mies. 6.7 seconds between 1st and 22nd. You don't see that in the supercars. There's a bit of a disparity, but that's what this championship is about, and that means we'll definitely be seeing traffic in a 1-hour race. It should only take 10 laps to actually find the traffic at that number or that speed. Yeah,
generally you've got to deal with a little bit of lap traffic during the race, but these guys are professionals.
So the fast laps came in about halfway through the session. Mies laid down the gauntlet, went toe-to-toe with Craig Baird. He had the fastest lap, but he could only manage a 12. They came in, wanted some fresh Pirellis. They sent the boys back out there, and they had a proper duking out one-on-one fight, these two. They were clearly the fastest two out there.
Beto giving it everything there over the curbs, flying the car over, trying to shortcut the circuit. This last sector just seemed to be a bit of a problem for him compared to me, so that's sort of where he lost most of his time.
This is the first pole position for Audi at this track. And it comes in the hands of this guy, Christopher Mies, who, like Tony says, spends his life driving these cars week in, week out at tracks like Spa, where he'll be in the very near future, actually, next week or the week after with the 24-hour. And here in Townsville, he puts car 1 in P1. Congratulations to everyone down in the Audi team. Well, good stuff. Thank you very much, Tony. And we'll have the Utes coming up next, but the GTs will have their race shortly. Like I said, it's a 1-hour mini enduro. Plenty of great places to watch the action from this weekend. As we go to the break minute, check out one of my favourite places, the Virgin Australia Paddock Club.